He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch. I now have a fair amount of Travel Alpha. But the first one is that you really should have, like, I know this is some weird, goofy fucking raccoon weasel, like homeless person crackhead shit, but like you really, really should have some sort of a range in your bag, like an electric range, a fucking George Foreman grill. That's what I have now, bro.
What the fuck is a range?
Like something to cook on.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So like when I was down in Japan, huh?
You can bring that on a plane? No shit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the thing with traveling to any other country, right? Like you go, and there's some countries like Portugal where the food that you get if you go out to a restaurant, you're just almost always going to be eating some sort of like weird like tourist slop. There's not really any way around it. And like by virtue of it being like a restaurant, like it's going to be priced at, you know, because everyone there is like a remote worker from America. So it's going to be priced at basically just like American prices. And everyone talks about like, oh, like the food is so cheap in Lisbon. It's not. It's like the same price as in the US demonstrably, unless you go to like a local fucking fish market where they don't even speak, they don't speak English,
and, like
and you just buy the raw ingredients, right? And you like you can have a real nice fucking fish fry on your George Foreman hotel or your George Foreman grill in the hotel if you plan it out right. Same thing in Japan. Like everybody says that Japanese food is so awesome, and there are facets of it that are quite awesome, but they are really, really fucking fond of like frying things.
They do
in
like
seed oil, right? And so you're gonna go down there and you're gonna get any Japanese food. It's probably gonna have some fried element to it. And if you want to just go and cook fish, like get some of like the freshest fish, the fucking eel down there. God damn, it's so good. I don't know if it's literally
preparing eel. Like, how the fuck are you preparing eel in the hotel?
So, I mean, most of the stuff, man, you can kind of just like slice her open and toss some salt on. Like it goes a lot farther than you think.
No fucking way, bro. Eel definitely has to be more complicated than that.
Nah, I don't believe it. Mean, maybe it is.
I've watched you cook though. It's a thing. So I know that you're
right. Like you know, man. I'm not frauding here.
Inside the way he cooks. You're just like,
dude,
burn
listen,
one half and leave
hey,
it raw.
Hey. If you have fresh enough ingredients, okay, you don't need to be a culinary expert.
Before my life, like. like just for context, he made liver, I think, right? And the way he cooked liver was just like put it on the pan and just burnt one side of it and left the other side raw. And just like
I did not burn one side. I cooked it appropriately.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
And I'm like, I've just never seen that before in my entire life.
It was like purely like that was my optimizing for speed cooking, where I literally just tossed it in the pan for like it was like on 6 heat. For like a couple minutes, tossed some salt on the other side, some pepper, and just fucking like shoved it in my mouth like a taco.
I'm like, hey, good for you though. I mean, you're low maintenance, so I mean, I guess you could just fucking cut the eel open and just put it on the grill. I guess. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, when I'm cooking, that's the other thing though. When you're cooking at any sort of like a conference or shit like that, and it's like, if you're going out and you're doing like the big group like meetup thing, then yeah, you'll probably all eat together. But when you're having a day where it's like you have 5 meetings with various like single off people, and like there's gonna be some that you have them at like a restaurant or something, but like largely it will just be like you're gonna go out and get coffee. You don't want to be spending that much time eating and cooking and stuff, because it's like you're either in calls or you're like you're preparing to talk to someone, or you're like making sure that like, oh, is this like entity ready for us to sign this, and like, but I do want to fucking taste the good ass food that they have down there. And the only way that you can do that is if you have a way to cook for yourself.
That's true. Though I gotta say, I wish that every other conference was like the ones in Texas. Like that's why I'm sad that Consensus is leaving, because this is the only conference of any crypto conference I've been to where like you go anywhere you go, it's just like they stock it up with like the best fucking like barbecue or the best fucking like there's always good food at every event, because like Texas is, I guess, kind of known for its food, so that makes sense. But like, you know, in New York you don't get fucking anything. Denver, they never have any fucking food. They didn't have any food
Okay,
anywhere.
well, I will say that I think this is like a uniquely American thing because every conference that I've been to in Asia and Europe, like they have good ass food everywhere.
Oh, really? See, that's what I'm talking. We need more of the conferences need to focus on the food because I don't know. Whenever I go to a conference that's not Austin, I'm always just like shocked. I mean, like New York is fine because there's food everywhere, and the thing is, like everyone's like doing these big dinners and shit. So like, I get it, but um,
I went to there were some of the fucking I don't know if I can say what the event. There were some of the events for um let's say for OTC desks, I guess.
uh-huh.
That they just had like awesome shit, man. Like they'd have like perfectly cooked salmon and like a buffet setting with like a
Oh,
nice ass like a bunch of like just insanely well done like tomatoes, perfectly what
I
is
love a good
and they're like
roasted tomato.
yeah, yeah,
If you get a
yeah.
good fucking roasted tomato, that's so
And they're
cash.
like homegrown tomatoes. Just I don't know, man. Everyone had real good shit to eat down there, and I appreciated it a lot. And then it ended, of course, and we had to cook for ourselves, but that's fine too because they also have nice stuff down there. I mean, even fucking London, honestly, they do have good raw ingredients.
That really? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
so. I mean, like it's not
Like
like
that's
London's a
London
fucking
food
uncivilized place,
does not get clowned on because of the ingredient quality. It gets clowned on
but
because of
it's
the
just
way in which they combine the ingredients.
yes, true, true. I mean, it is an island, right? So they would have really good fish. They have like it's a port. There's a lot of good ports. Yeah,
Yep.
it should have really good ingredients. Yeah. Now that I
Yeah,
think about it.
the ingredients were quite good. Um, so yeah, that is my first recommendation is you should probably have a travel range if you're. And the other thing is like, dude, you want to be like you want to be prepared to stay a lot longer than you are. And frankly, like going out with crypto people every day to eat, it's like
You're just blowing through
you
money.
just don't
Yeah.
have that much money. Like nobody has that much money. Like you're gonna be you're going out and it's like you're fucking spending like hundreds of dollars every meal, and you're already at a hotel that costs like fucking $500, and like
Yeah.
it's like every day there is like an additional grand that you spend.
Yes.
At some
100%.
point, you want to go to the fucking store and be a weasel person who gets like $20 a fish, and that lasts you like real long, man.
Hey, listen, that's what I definitely do that in New York. I will fucking always sneak away and hit a bodega or some shit or like some like really fast place to eat that I could
Yeah.
like but I know the spots because I kind of grew up there, right? But like but like everywhere else, you're stuck in the crypto vortex, and now you got to go to steak restaurants and shit. You're like, oh
Well,
my
and
god,
the other thing is that everybody kind of is in the same boat where like all people are like, oh God, like the prices of like everybody is doing like this like self flex thing of like yeah, let's go to this place. Is anyone else nobody has a problem with this place, right? And like nobody wants to be the one to say like
no, I don't want to go to
I
the
would
most
prefer to
expensive
go to
restaurant.
some place that does not average $500 a visitor, right? But like I'm like the only person who's willing to be like,
To say that, yeah,
holy shit, like and everybody else is just like, yeah, like I'm fine, bro.
yeah, real though, yeah, like that's so true. Like almost every time they're just like they want to pick the fucking the John George shit, and you're just like, bro, unless one of y'all want to pick up the entire bill, you stop fucking suggestion. Then we go to a
Yeah,
5-star restaurant, dude. I don't got time for this.
yeah.
I'll do it
It's
one night. Like I'll give you like
right, yeah, like
one,
you gotta have one like blowout or something when you're down with the boys.
but
But
otherwise, I'm like I'm good on that, bro. I'm gonna go to a normal restaurant and pay $20 and be fine.
yeah, like I'm not and I never will be at the point where I'm like willing to just always because the other thing is like the nice places, the fucking like all the Michelin star places, like they do the like the fucking 6 course thing, and it takes like a lot of time,
Yeah,
right? Because they have it all timed out. They know exactly how like they literally it's on a timer, and every course they give you an amount of time because there's some like digestive theory about whatever. And that's great. Like it's a great experience, but
I got shit
when
to
you
do.
have like you're down at the conference because you have a bunch of meetings and shit, or you need to speak or you need to talk to these people or like something, you just can't be doing that for every meal because if you do that for even 2 meals a day, suddenly you only have 2 waking hours to do anything else.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I just like also I just don't like spending that. Like I'm kind of efficiency person for eating. Like, like I not only when I
Yes.
cook, but when I go out, like I just don't want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like you saw what I fucking
Yeah,
do
you're
on
even
my
more
own.
than
Like
me, which is impressive.
I'm even more of like a fucking raccoon than you.
Yeah, I'm just like I got 30 minutes on. That's like we're not maybe an hour if I like the company. But I got in and out. Let's get the food. Let's go do something else. I don't want to fucking sit there and fucking just fucking yap. We can yap while we walk. Walk and
I
talk.
do love the yapping. It gets a little worrisome when you're with someone who's sitting there and their goal is like, I'm gonna yap and keep ordering. And you're like, hold up, bro, like what? Like and then they're on their like 17th like round of oysters or something, and you're just wondering like, okay, like
Is that what we're doing?
I haven't eaten any of these since like oyster round number 3. I don't know who's fucking getting the tab here.
Yeah, now I gotta fucking pay for your fucking
Yeah,
your
and you're
onslaught
worried
of
they're gonna do the fucking like so we're gonna split this, right? And you're like I don't want to be like Mr. Jewish man, but
but you did add
I'm
$300
sorry.
to
Yeah,
the
like
fucking tab.
I am not I don't know, dude.
So true. I always hate that shit. Like like or we go to like fucking like a Korean barbecue or some shit, and then we order. People are like ordering a bunch of shit for the table, and you're like, okay, this is gonna. I already know what this is gonna be. I already know this is gonna be a situation. There's also like 20 of us, so we gotta fucking split this and figure this out. I hate this. Unless you got like one guy who wants a big dick and buy it for the table, y'all need to chill with that.
I have only ever been in the situation once where everybody was like nobody wanted to pick it for themselves, and they all just were like, I think we should just split this. And it was like the most horrifying experience I've had in my life. I could feel actively every single girl's labia just
Shrivel
instantly
up.
become so dry. And I was like cackling, right? Because I was there with like I had like no romantic investment in this. The
Mhm.
girl that I was with, I didn't really like I never intended to see her again.
Yeah.
So I was like just soaking in, like basking in the
Fucking awkward.
grotesqueness, right, of the experience.
Like we're gonna split
And
it 14 ways, and the girls
yeah,
are just
14, and they're all like they're like arguing over the tip size, dude. They're like, one, I think we should just go 18, bro, and another's like, I think we should do 15. And like they're like, okay, well, if you want to pay for 18, man, but I'm paying for 15. And you're like, holy shit.
You're never getting laid ever.
Yeah, it was like, guys, like these are your like long-term girlfriends, bro. Like your relationships will not recover.
Fucking ruined, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna be like trying for your third kid, and she's gonna be remembering this, and like she won't even be ovulating anymore. Like it's gonna be totally impossible for you to ever reproduce again.
Oh man, yeah, no, you're allowed to. I think you're allowed to order for the table if you're gonna big dick and pick it up at the end, right? You could just be like, oh yeah, buy for all that kind of shit. If you're the one who's paying for it,
But also, you have
There's
to
never that
fucking
guy.
tell them. You have to fucking tell them that
people
you're
ahead of
doing
time.
that because
and then people get like weird. They're like, I don't want to. Maybe I'll order a salad only.
right, yeah, and like a lot of people don't realize that, but like at least 50% of the people in any given crypto dinner are like sitting there like worried shitless that they're going to get priced out of tonight's dinner, right? Like,
they're walking on the sidelines as the price skyrockets.
yeah.
Like, I'm okay. I'm okay with water. Don't worry. Like, bro, it's okay. You can
Well,
eat.
and the
I'll
other
help
thing is
you.
that like I always order water, and so like that's intrinsically the way that everyone assumes that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So it's like it's nice, right? Like my classic order of water already puts me in the boat where like people are like
Lucas isn't
right, because they're like, oh, like Lucas is being like a Jewish weasel raccoon person. So then because they think that I'm that way, they do things that would accommodate everyone else who might be that way, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like
You
a
help
bar
everybody out.
lower, right?
You helped them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I always if I'm gonna go to one of these dinners, I like to scope out who's going, and if you got one of the VCs in the dinner, I'm in.
Yeah, you're right. They always take the tabs.
I'm like, who's going? Oh, this okay, yeah, I'm definitely in. We're going where the I don't care where we're going. Put me in the Uber. The VC guys got it, bro. I know. Otherwise, you can miss me with that shit. We
That
could
is
go with
funny.
like a group of 4 and whatever and figure it out there. But otherwise, if it's a big group, only if I see a VC. You'll never when I see these fucking pictures of people in like 20-person dinners, like you're never gonna catch me at one of those. I assure you that I already know what the hell.
That's a really horrifying one. There's like a size where it just, and the other thing is like also, uh, those dinners are so like the fun that you have is so dependent on like if you get there in time to sit next to the people that you
But you want to sit
like.
next to, yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just in the corner, and now you got to pay all this money for some shit. You were talking
Right,
to
and
some
it doesn't
scrub.
matter. It doesn't fucking matter how good the food was. Like your night is destroyed forever if you
Yeah.
wind up sitting next to the wrong people at one of those things.
Oh my god. Yeah, I hate those. Like, yeah. In general, I just there's definitely a cap for me for how many people can be at like. I like when I see people in these fucking massive groups. Like I remember this. I think I learned this in college, where like you go out with your entire floor, and it's like 20 people, and you realize really quickly there's a max size for an optimal group, and it might be 6. I think more than 6, and I'm like, all right, we got to do something about this. I'm not feeling this anymore.
It's the point where your group starts to form into like splinter groups naturally when walking around. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. When it can't even sustain its own size, and people have to break into smaller groups, that's how you know you're in too big of a fucking group.
Yeah.
The natural size that you guys split into, that's where you need to be in groups of 4, maybe a group of 5. When you got to start ordering like 8 Ubers, like fucking like 3 XLs to get your group somewhere, it's like shut up. We're doing too much. I'm gonna leave. This has been fun, but I gotta go.
Well, it's also impossible to coordinate anything because like with all this crypto stuff, it's like if it's after 3 p.m., everybody
It's
is
trash.
it's like they've been drinking for the last 5 hours and they just brought out the ketamine 2 hours ago, and like you're trying to coordinate 60 people from like someone rented a mansion because they thought it would be cool. It's filled with all these crypto people and like all these new crypto people that don't even live there, but they just got invited to stay there by whoever's already staying there.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're half on ketamine, half drunk. You're simply not going to get anyone to any place in under 2 hours. It's
Oh yeah.
impossible. Like it's like the thing that everyone experienced in college when you're like, let's go to the bars, bro. And it's like everyone knows there's about 3.5 hours from the first time that someone says, let's go to the bars, bro, to the time that you finally go to the bars, right? And the crypto people are like, they're probably even worse, right?
Yeah, almost certainly worse. I mean, I often end up falling into that role, like especially like in after or something after an event. Everyone looks to me because I know because I've been to so many of these conferences. Like I know people, I can recognize the anon people. Like I know what they all look like. I know their real names and shit like that. So everyone's like, "Hey, Verge, what are we gonna do?" Da, da, da. So now I have to fucking coordinate in DMs with 45 people to find out where everyone's going. And then it's just like, and like half of them are literally on ketamine, half of them are. I'm like, listen.
Well, and they're just unreliable. That's the other thing that rarely gets like
famously
crypto.
Unreliable crypto
Yeah,
people.
crypto is more so than any other industry plagued by unreliability. And so like these people can tell you that they're going to some place, and it's like it's not like, oh, I'm on my way to this place. It's like 2 hours ago when I said, is anyone thinking about dinner tonight? Someone said, yeah, maybe we could try this place, right? Like,
yeah.
So then they tell you that place, but they have no investment in actually going there. And they don't realize that they're being extremely inconsiderate by like saying this thing that implies they does, because it's also impacting your plans for the night.
Yeah.
And if you were to like tell them this later, they would get it. But their current state of mind lacks the empathy to understand that that's what you're asking, right? Even if it is very direct and it would be obvious to a sober person, they're not sober, right? They're in a K-hole. It's unknown how they're even reaching out of it to respond to your text message. But they have somehow through like the power of market efficiency. And in doing so, they've managed to lie to you accidentally.
they've done all this work to get out of the K-hole just to lie to you. And that's so real.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that going on. And then honestly, like, so in London, there was a point where I got done with the crypto stuff. And then I was mostly talking to the TradFi people. Or some like there's a bunch of people over there in the energy sector that I was talking to. And, you know, that coming from the crypto conference stuff, that is really refreshing and nice. You know, it's like you say,
Mm.
I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna talk to this. I'm gonna meet you at this place at this time, and they're there like 3 minutes early. They tell you, okay, this is what I'm wearing, this is where I'm sitting.
You're like, oh,
Everything's
so
quiet.
you're an
There's no
adult.
there's no
Oh.
music in the background at the venue they've picked.
Yeah, there's not fucking Diplo in the background. You're
Yeah.
trying to have a car.
It's not like 170 decibel Diplo playing in the background. You leave the meeting and your voice is not hoarse, it's not fried, it's not blown out, and you're just like, I feel at peace.
Like, wow, you're not on shrooms or LSD when I'm talking to you. That's so what a weird, interesting coincidence.
Yeah,
We're having a business meeting and you're sober. I've never seen this before.
yeah, and everyone, they all have like discussions over time horizons somewhere between 3 and 10 years.
Long-term decision making.
Yeah.
Well, the cycle is going to end in 3 months. We might start building.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's real. And like, by virtue of the fact that their industry doesn't like boom and bust every 4 years or whatever, like if you gain information about it, or you gain it's like what I was down there for. I basically needed some people to hook me up with. They basically have to have a specific license to ship energy, like LNG or canisters or stuff like that. And so I was wondering, there's a little bit of a weird arb between like the licensed and unlicensed ships that I wanted to talk to for something, because we're shipping some stuff across those transit routes. And it's just like that stuff that you meet those people, and the people in the fucking like Europe gas logistics industry, they're gonna be around for a long time.
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, it's information that doesn't become obsoleted in 36 hours, right? So you just have this sense that when you're learning things about it, it isn't totally wasted, right? It's not totally wasted if you don't do anything with it in the next year. It's just a nice thing to have that you can just write down and remember.
It's weird. It's a very novel idea. I've never heard anything about it.
I know. As I become an old fucking boomer, I really am. I am understanding that the traditional.
There's time horizons more than the 1 minute chart.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What a strange novel concept.
Yeah.
So
and
I need
then, you need to head out or something?
Well, I need to eat food. I'm fading energy wise. What were we about to say?
This because we talked too much about
Yeah,
dinner?
it was actually I realized I was hungry.
Yeah.
Damn, some of that food's starting to sound pretty good right now.
I saved myself from this. I have like a gallon of milk down here, dude. This is my last
Bro,
travel
drinking a
tip that I
gallon,
had.
you can't. You're doing the 1 gallon a day thing.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, it's funny because I'm using like here. So my last travel tip, I got stranded when I was coming back. American Airlines somehow fumbled in like the most absurd way that I've ever seen, right? Like going from LA back to my place, which was like a one-stop, very, very simple, like 2-flight trip. I had like a 3-hour layover, like plenty of fucking time. Somehow though, they like delayed my second flight. And then they delayed it, and then they delayed it, and then they delayed it, and then they finally canceled it. And then they rebooked me through somewhere else, and then they did the same thing, and then they just kept rebooking me and canceling and it's like I didn't get back home until literally like 3.5, maybe 4 days after I was supposed to initially. And
my nightmare.
The only way that this didn't make me kill myself is because I like was posting about this in some Telegram groups, and all the crypto guys were like, dude, like just get the fucking Amex Platinum card. Like, and I was like, how the fuck is getting a new credit card going to solve my problem, you retard? Like, but it turns out I was actually the retard, right? So it's this credit card that it's the meme card. It has like a $700 like annual fee or something. But it gave me like $2,000 worth of like points, air quotes, which is like, okay, so in the real world, points mean something other than what Blast Gold does. They actually give you money, I guess. So you can use these points to like, it's like $2,000 worth of like hotels or flights or some shit like that, which is like, yeah, that's useful actually. Like that's like, I'm definitely going to be flying more than $2,000 worth of shit over this next year. And then on top of the points, it has all these fucking like it gives you like free clear, free like
Ooh,
TSA, pre-check,
pre-check.
free
That's
global
a good shit right
entry.
there.
Uh so and then also it gives you free Walmart Plus, which like I didn't know what Walmart Plus is. I still don't really. The one thing that I do know though is it gives you free shipping. So like I can now just order groceries at Walmart and then have some person deliver it to me,
Oh, that's
and
rocks.
they send it over in like 15 minutes and it costs nothing.
That's so sick. I get
It
my groceries
fucking
delivered to it.
rocks.
I love getting my
That's how
groceries
I have
delivered.
this milk right now because
Oh.
I sent some Walmart grocery boy over to buy my fucking milkies.
You pauper boy, fetch me
Yeah.
some milk.
It's so awesome, dude. Like,
Hell
and
yeah.
oh, here's the other thing. It's like it's cheaper on the Walmart app than it is in store. Like, I didn't realize this, but they like fucking they
Yeah,
screw
they're trying
you
to
in the
incentivize you
store.
to use it.
No. Like it's like the Walmart website. If you buy stuff on Walmart.com, like it has the like actual prices, and then if you buy it in store, it'll like I bought a roll of tape that was like I got like those rolls of like duck packing tape or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like $2 on the website. In store, they're like $7 or $8 or something. So like I think even if you don't have this card, it's like you should just be buying stuff online. Or maybe
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Maybe there are like unique deals for like
No, it's not just
the
deals.
card.
It's like they've been like they have you get like there's no distribution because they don't have to like they don't have to ship it like to the store on the truck. Like it's just cheaper. It's just like because you pay for shipping effectively when you buy it. So there's none of that extra tax and shit and gas. Like they don't have to add a lot of other stuff. So it's almost always cheaper online in most stores.
Yeah. I guess that's fair. But I mean, it appears that like that's what I can just do for food now when I need like weird shit that's not like I'm just getting it from like the farmers around here. I guess milk isn't really that weird, but it's
No,
like
milk's pretty normal.
I'm getting to the point now where like the Amish farmer guy, when I'm hitting him up and stuff, it's like
He's like, bro,
he
you've milked Bessie to half to death.
well it's just that
Jebediah
I
can only
can't
can only move those titties with so much. Sorry.
I just like he he's the only one that I can't get to like deliver my stuff for me. Like there's no amount of money that I can pay him to deliver because he has to like it's like a 2-hour drive out to his thing, and like he doesn't have a car. He has like a horse and carriage. So like
Yeah.
it's literally like I think impossible for him to deliver it to me. And I just don't have 4 hours to be spending on an Amish milk journey every week now, you know? Like it's just beyond me. So I either got to find a new fucking milk guy or I got to get around that. But anyway, the big thing with the fucking Amex card, this is how it saved my life. I did not realize this. It gets you access to like all those fucking airport lounges. It like almost every single one. But the main one is like the Centurion Lounge that they have for the Amex people.
The Amex Lounge rocks.
I did not understand what this was, and everyone said it gets you into the lounges, and I was like, "Who fucking cares if I can go into some area where they have like a
I didn't
slightly
realize
comfier chair?"
No, I also faded this. I didn't realize until Denver because everyone was just chilling at the lounge after the conference,
Yeah,
like all day, and I didn't understand. And now I get it. No, I need to get the same car. I need to do the same thing.
yeah. Like so that was like because I would have had to have like hotels, right? Like I would have had to be. So then it's like I would have had to be going out and fucking Ubering to a hotel every night that I got delayed for. Additionally, and then like I'm now not only like 4 days late for this shit, where it's like every day I'm losing like massive amounts in opportunity costs for like all projects that I'm working with, like not having me doing anything. But I'm also, and it's like I theoretically could be doing things, and I was taking as many calls as I could. I finally got a pair of fucking like noise canceling headphones that have like a mic and stuff, so I can like, I can take my calls without people hearing me on like the speakerphone or whatever. Because I haven't had headphones since they took away the headphone jack.
Oh yeah,
and I will say, God, it feels fucking good to be back and have some headphones. But the Amex Lounge, bro, they've got like fucking. They had a spa. They have like a free spa. They have like a free buffet. They had a free bar. They had like free, real nice showers, like beds. Like it's just free fruit sitting around. They had like homemade ice cream, like not like literal homemade ice cream. Like I watched them pour in the fucking milk, the cream, the sugar. They like mixed it up. Like it was so good. Just like all those really nice like espresso machines everywhere. And I swear to God, day one I ate like over $1,000 of just salmon, man. Like they had lox for like breakfast, and I just shamelessly ate all of the fucking salmon, all of it. I must have had like 25 grams of sodium. I looked in the mirror afterwards, and I was like, I straight up look like my face has become like more round. Like it's like noticeably like I am retaining water facially as a consequence of my enormous sodium intake. And I feel that my blood pressure has increased, right? Like I really have transcended the bounds of what humans have thought to be possible.
You've gotten your money's worth. That's what it sounds like.
Right.
Like, it's
Right. And then I was having like I realized down there that for whatever reason, all the alcohol in the world gives me like a real bad hangover, with the exception of tequila. And so I haven't really been drinking that much at all. But I was out with somebody, and they convinced me to have a fair amount of tequila, I guess. And the next day I was just totally fine. And
tequila, yeah, there's not a lot of added sugar. It's not like necessarily added sugar. It's just because it's from agave. I don't know. It just kind of sits differently, I think.
Someone was telling me that it's some like impurity thing, or that it's like a microbiome thing. Like it has like probiotic. And like all of it sounded super fake to me, but something has to be true, because I was having like 2 tequila sours an hour for like the first and second days, and it just didn't matter somehow. Like there was no hangover. I mean, obviously I
have been told that like that is allegedly the appeal of like really nice alcohol. Is like you get the nicer it is, the better it's distilled and stuff. You get less of the hangover. I don't know if that's true, because I feel like I get a hangover no matter what I drink. But I'm also a degenerate who drinks Red Bull vodkas, so that's my fault.
Yeah, that's fair. So I really do feel like I got my money's worth out of that card. And dude, when they shipped the card out too, because I didn't have the card until like yesterday, because they it's like I bought it in the airport, and I was like using my gay little digital card. I'm like pulling out my phone to like show them. And
is that the metal one? Is it metal?
Yeah. So they send it to you in this like, it's like a hilarious like presentation oriented, and I'm not gonna say it's like the nicest presentation. Like it's still like a corrugated cardboard, whatever. But like here, I'm gonna DM you on Telegram a picture of what this box looks like, and it's like it's kind of funny. Like it's a little over the top. It's not like crazy, but
oh yeah, they're like
you're like, this is funny. Like you could have just fucking sent me an envelope.
Yeah,
I guess,
an envelope is fine, but
yeah, it's like it's only $700. Like you don't have to be focusing this much on presentation, I guess, but they really do. I guess they're trying to market me the premium experience. But I will say that I thought that this card didn't like. I thought it was a meme, because the only people who ever mentioned it to me were like people who I'm like, okay, like you're kind of someone who just like talks about your like expensive things because you like flexing. And so like I don't think that there's actually any reason to you having expensive things other than the flexing, right? But it looks like this is the one that actually it is financially responsible to have this nice thing, because if you're someone who travels any amount more than like once or twice a year, I think it just instantly pays for itself. Because the other thing is, like, if I were to have like, if I had booked the trip with this card, they would have just given me like $1 million back because of how fucked up it was. And then also they would have booked me on some like, like the first time it gets canceled, they would have been like, oh my God, sir, we're so sorry. Your next flight will be business class, and it will be like we've transferred you over to this. And like, like everything would have been handled and fixed.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I mean, people have been telling me to get this card fucking forever. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. It's a fucking scam. But no, I mean, it does seem like, everyone just seems to get endless benefits without any kind of drawback. So it might just be one of those few things that's not a scam.
Well, you've also got to use it. Oh, it gives you like a few $100s a year of like Uber credits, Uber Eats credits also, and like hotel credits and shit. So like, you can actually like make a fuck ton of money if you already use the services that it's like paying for.
Yeah.
Because they're basically like they partnered with like Walmart Plus or whatever, and presumably like they didn't have to pay Walmart Plus the full like whatever annual fee it is. So they got they got a bulk deal on
Nah, I'm sure
purchasing.
that the reason why these partnerships, they just make like they have to pay like the businesses have to pay Amex every time they swipe. I'm sure they get like a reduced price on that.
Oh yeah, and Amex does actually have they have the highest fee for processing.
Yeah, so I'm assuming like all these partnerships were just, instead of 5% or whatever the fuck it is, it's one. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause that pays
Yeah,
for
I
itself
got
for
you.
them.
Yeah, because in Europe, actually, there's a lot of restaurants that don't accept the Amex cards.
You know, that
Like
used to be the case here. I remember in the '90s, that was there. Everyone was like, "We don't accept Amex," but now it seems to be that's pretty universal now. But yeah, in Europe they don't have it. It's Visa, Mastercard, or Revel. That's also Visa. It's just Visa or Mastercard. They don't give a fuck. They're like, eat a
yeah.
dick. I had an issue with Discover there. They weren't fucking with that. Fucking with Discover.
I think the actual rates are like 2.5 versus 3.5, which is
I mean,
like
that's still a big percentage.
it's a massive percentage because you consider what the average business is making like 10% or something on
Yeah, like their margin, or profit
their
margin.
margin. So like you take fucking
That's
an
huge.
additional 1% out of their 10% and like that's a 10% decrease in your fucking margins, bro. That's huge.
Oof.
Just because
Yeah.
somebody used the wrong rectangle to swipe with you. Like I would ban the Amex shit too.
Yeah,
And like
hell yeah, dude.
nobody has only an Amex, right?
No, literally, I think you literally cannot just have only Amex. You'd be fucked.
Yeah, because everyone's done this now. It's also the card is like it's heavy. Like it's not like an
it has like a
aluminum
nice.
card.
It has like a nice it like feels like it's fake lead. And that lead's too heavy, but it's like nickel or some bullshit. It's like kind of, there's some heft
It
to it.
feels like steel. I'm gonna go. I'll like magnet test it after this, I guess. But it definitely does not feel
No,
like
we
it's
don't want to
aluminum, which I
magnetize it because
expected.
couldn't you demagnetize the strip?
I totally could, but who cares? Like
Yeah,
I
true.
use my
You get a
phone
new one.
anyway.
They'll fucking send you a new one. They don't give a shit.
Right. It's like and then I get an extra one, right? And I can just do goofy shit with it.
Yeah, true.
But it's like there's no point in using it to pay at like a restaurant or something because you only get like 1 point per dollar. And I think like at the best conversion rate that I could find, it was like 1 point is like 2 cents ish.
Okay.
So you get like 5 points per dollar spent on travel and hotels, which is like that's fucking insane.
That's
10%
basically
cash back
dollar.
on travel and expenses is
Yeah,
like
10%. Yeah, I don't know why I said
I'm
$10.
going like I'm going to have like 6 free vacations annually.
Yeah, that actually adds up pretty quickly now. Now you say it's 10%.
Yeah.
Like you got to pay for hotels, you got to pay for flights. That's, you do that a few times in a year,
Ubers,
and now
like
you have a.
I don't
yeah.
actually know if they pay for Ubers in your new place. I think there are some travel services that they pay for, but I don't know if it's Uber. But like, yeah, I mean, it's insane, right? Like if I go to Europe or Asia, what like 12 times a year or something like that, like
Yeah.
that it's it's $30,000 to $40,000. Like it's just a lot of fucking cash back.
They need first of all, crypto needs to take some fucking lessons from Amex. That's fuck Blast. This is what you needed. You need some shit like this.
We do. If only it would be great if there was some sort of an upcoming release or something that's partnering with a credit card company and allowing you to get cash back on your
Oh, that sounds
Yeah, that would be
fun.
very cool.
Hmm.
The Coinbase debit card is kind of cooked now too. Like all the rewards are like 0.5% or something.
I get a decent amount of USDC back from it. Not a lot.
It's like they're offering you like 5% APY like USDC for holding USDC, but it's like
but that's not really what I use that card for. I use that card because it is very, very convenient to send Solana or some bullshit you have a lot of to your card and just switch to paying with that. It's just,
yeah.
The convenience factor. Also, they do not like. It actually was more reliable when I went abroad than my actual bank. My bank kept canceling my fucking card, like because I gotta stop using Wells Fargo. They fucking suck. I'm doxing
I was about
them.
to say, yeah.
Every time I would swipe, Wells Fargo would be like, "Yeah, you're fraud," blah blah blah. And then so I was using Coinbase card, and they didn't give a shit. They were like, and it was converting it into the local currency. It was the fucking best thing ever. So there are a lot of places where that's actually really convenient to have.
So the Coinbase card was actually the one card that I didn't shut off when I got all my shit stolen because even though it is a debit card, I just didn't have any USDC in my Coinbase account and I didn't have I moved all of my other funds out of the Coinbase, so it's like they even if they got the card, they couldn't really do
You
anything
do
with it,
anything with
right?
it, yeah.
Yeah. So um I I had that, and that was like I realized, oh, like I can just send crypto to here, convert it to USDC, and then instantly buy with it. And
You don't
like
need to convert it.
you don't, but it's like they charge you a fee. It's like they charge you like a 3% fee or something. So
Oh,
it's like
really?
yeah,
Yeah,
like you'd be better off just like
I should
selling it
convert it.
into USDC, and
I
it's
never
like
do it though.
it's only
I
like
never I never do it. I'm just like, fuck
right,
it, we're
like
paying
it's
with
only like
Solana.
3%. So it's like, do I really want to like log
Also,
in
you
and
gotta
like
consider
market sell
too,
this?
if you
Huh?
use a asset that's going up, the fees are offset by the fact that, like, okay, I sent Solana to my account.
Well,
But then
unless you're
once
sending it exactly when you sell and only
no, no,
that
no. What
month.
I'm saying is, like, let's say I sent Solana to my card at 150, and a week later it's 180. All the fucking, I mean, I don't know if it's still probably, I'm probably still losing overall. I don't really care, but I don't know. It's just this is how I justify it and cope in my head.
Well, but like if you only are making one purchase and you just only send enough for that one purchase, like 2 minutes before that one time, like which is like what I'm doing now, like it doesn't really
Yeah, it
matter a
doesn't really
ton.
matter.
But I will say that I'm a little bit irritated with them because like before I came down and before I set up everything down here, I was trying to buy like a new fucking interface for someone for like for the podcast shit, because I need to
Hmm.
replenish all my studio supplies because we lost everything in our bag that got stolen. Uh, and I was trying to pay this guy from like Facebook Marketplace, and I didn't have enough cash in my wallet. And I told him like, yeah, I don't have enough cash, but I can just PayPal or like Cash App you or something, right? And he was like, yeah, that's no problem. Uh, and so I come down and I try to Venmo him, and it doesn't accept this. And then I try to Cash App him, and it doesn't accept this. And in the end, it worked because I was able to send Bitcoin to my Cash App and then sell
Yeah.
it into USD, which I sold him.
Uh huh.
But like in the end, it still comes down to just, oh, crypto is just better. Like,
It's just
and
better.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I keep running into is whenever I need to actually just give someone money, it's always best done through crypto. And it would have been even better if on Cash App they used anything other than Bitcoin, because
Yeah, because you have to wait 30 fucking
it's
minutes.
the fucking slowest. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand why they.
It's because Jack's is a fucking is a Bitcoin maxi.
Yeah, I guess, but it really
He needs
is.
to get with the fucking program though.
Yeah. I was just like, why couldn't I just send you fucking Solana?
And we know within a second if it works.
Right, like, and the whole thing would just be so much smoother because I was also like, but it went smoothly enough that this other guy was like, "Oh, crypto is fucking awesome." And he like he wound up like downloading Phantom,
Oh,
and
okay. Listen.
like I sent him like a Solana or something for gas and explained how everything worked. He follows Ansem now.
Oh, hell yeah.
I showed him Ansem, and he was like, "What about yours?" And I was like, "I don't think we
Yeah,
need
you
to.
don't.
You probably don't need to see my account."
Yeah, you might.
Uh,
Yeah, it's better
and
off that you don't.
yeah, it's better if we just don't do that, sir.
I have to do that to people sometimes when I meet them in person. They're like, "Oh, how do you know everyone here?" I'm like, "Oh, well, I met my friend through this and that Twitter." And then they're like, "Oh, what's your Twitter?" I'm like, "I don't think it's for you." I just don't. I don't think that's.
It was the same thing with her, right? Where she obviously hated me on Twitter, but
Oh
then she was
yeah,
like, "Oh, you're like she actually specifically said like, "Oh, you're like a verse person. You have like verse syndrome." And I was like, "Well,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't necessarily say that in the sense that like you try to be much more disagreeable than I am, right?"
Yeah. But it's still the same thing where it's like the image of me online and when they meet me in person is so like incompatible. They're just like, "Oh, you're like." She also
Yeah.
used to hate my Twitter, but then she met me in person and was like, "Oh wait, you're actually normal. Like, why are you like that online?" Like, I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who girls especially also, like, they'll have this idea of, like, who you might be based on your account, and it's, like, a person who's, like, so cartoonishly evil they couldn't actually exist in real life,
Hmm.
right? And, like, there's not a way to explain to them that this person that they imagine in their head can't exist within, like, the bounds of society. Like,
Hmm.
but they sort of realize it, and they usually feel kind of silly when they
Yeah.
meet you, and you're like
a normal
not that.
person, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, duh. How could I think that? Of
Yeah,
course.
and also there's some who it drives them down a rabbit hole too, where they start questioning like, why do I try so hard to be normal online? Like, why am I doing that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are a lot of people too in our sphere who like you can tell that like they're desperately. It's usually girls who are like somewhat in this scene, but it's like the failed normie descriptor is like very apt for a lot of people, especially over in like the dime square side of things, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's clear that they're like weird internet freaks, but they're like trying their damnedest to like pretend like they're normal, well-adjusted people
Yeah.
while tweeting like 120 times a day and like exclusively going to meetups and like
Mm-hmm.
following all of this like gay group chat drama and stuff like that. And it's like you should just like accept it, right?
Just
Like
accept
just
who you are.
yeah, like just say like I am a weird freak and it's like maybe that's not optimal, I guess, but it's who I am, and it would be a lie to go on here and like I'm not going to come on the internet and spend 16 hours a day pretending I touch grass, right? Like it's just fucking embarrassing. Uh
Exactly. I like group chat drama. My name, hi, I'm Verse. I like group chat drama. Hi, Verse. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it's
it's how it is.
so I don't know. There was a lot of fun people we met. There's a lot of people who know us or who knew me from my podcast more so than
I told you this from
yeah.
fucking that like the last couple conferences I went to. Like people were like, I love, like people have come up to me and just like, love your podcast, bro. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? You listen? That's
Yeah,
crazy, dude.
like an insane number of people came up from the podcast, which was like almost more so than my Twitter.
More people listen to our podcast than we think. I mean, like the numbers on the screen, like we see the numbers and it's in our head. We're just like, oh, those are numbers, but those are actual human beings listening for some reason.
Yeah, and I guess something that I failed to realize too, or I failed to realize was that like if somebody subscribes to you on like Spotify or something, that's like a much higher level of buy-in than like a Twitter follow is, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody subscribes to your podcast, like there was a conversation that I was having with a girl down there who like listens to every episode of our podcast, right?
Yeah.
That's like
That's that's a lot. Yeah.
so like you're having it's very very rare that I have a conversation with somebody and like
They
you know
know
like
our
most of
references
the
and
time
shit.
like I've dealt with so many people either in like a BD partnership sales etc or just like an online like instantly like I've just done a lot of like front facing outreach, so I am very very fast at like stereotyping demography, figuring out what bucket everybody falls into based on like 2 or 3 sentences, like how they look, stuff like that. uh and it's super rare that I'm put into a situation where like my ability to do that is outpaced by some like asymmetric advantage they have. But when
Mm-hmm.
somebody says, I have listened to 200 hours of you talking, and you realize that it's like the only thing that I have to know about you are one, that you listen to my podcast, and two, like what you look like, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm.
Yeah.
I'm actually really off sides here. Like I'm at a really big like info disadvantage that like I didn't normally realize was giving me this much confidence in conversation, but like I'm
Yeah. It
realizing
actually,
now that it's gone that there's actually like a lot of stuff that I'm like scared to say.
you know, it's
Right?
also
Like
funny too when like they like people like that, because I've met a few of them now because of these conferences where they like know your bits. They like fucking reference shit you said. You're like, wait, what? I don't even remember saying that, but yeah, I did say that. You're right. Like that's like
yeah.
it's kind of surreal.
Yeah, it's a very it's bad also when you meet them and they don't have the like awareness to realize that like you don't know what their reaction to what you said was.
Yeah, true,
So
right?
they'll say like some of them will have had like an imaginary like dialogue in their head and they'll say like, well, it's like you might know that's not like really like what I said about it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, what do you mean?
It's like they're like referencing a conversation that
Yeah,
you
they're
that you
parasocial
like
conversation in
you
the
never
head.
really had. And that is the problem with like the parasocial shit is that like there are some people who are capable of having a parasocial relationship with you and they're like normal about it, right? Like they like separate it from like the real you. And you will notice too, like these people, the more that you talk to them, the less that they listen to your podcast, because it's like
You're like, I know
if you
you
talk to
know.
someone enough, like they already kind of know it all, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't need you don't need to listen to your best friend's podcast. You just kind of talk to them. And some people though just have this like ongoing like I don't know, like you're like a
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just I kind of like it though because it feeds my little like it feeds my ego. Like, oh, you're in my little. We actually got to the point now with so many hours of ourselves recorded.
right where
We have
somebody
a little
finds us and they like
microcosm
us, they
now.
can go back in time and they can binge watch so much of our shit that
Yeah,
like yeah.
like legit. Like I mean, like we have like around 200 hours probably.
Well, yeah,
So
it's actually really interesting too because I didn't think about this at first, but like when we first started the podcast, it was like that was sort of right around when I was like coming into crypto and stuff, and we're now at the point where like we have like
a try. We
like
have like 2 years of track record almost.
you know like people will like name drop people like Suzu or Ansem all the fucking time.
I'm like,
Uh,
that's like our actual like we talk to them.
yeah, and then when they realize that like you actually know them, they're horrified because they're like, "Oh, I've like told a bunch of lies and like overextended myself really embarrassing." Like I was at this one dinner and there was this guy who came up and he was like bragging about how he's in a group chat with Ansem or something like that. And it was like
Yeah, so I always that one is so weird to me because it actually happens a lot now that he's really big. And
yeah.
people name drop man, so I'm like, that's just it feels gross. I'm like, I mean, I could text him right now. Like, I guess like, are we like, what are we doing? I was there at Ansem's birthday, like before he had followers. Like, that's it's just like a strange like that, or at least like that video where they found Jimbo randomly in New York City, and the guy's like, I know, bro, I can introduce you to Ansem, and he's like, Z, yeah, it's my boy. Like it was like that video is like so iconic.
Yeah, there's like it's just yeah. I mean, the guy was like the first time that I had a guy doing this to me, and he just spent probably like 15 minutes self-promoting his he said that he had like a fund and he's like talking about how he like is in a group chat with Ansem. And again, like for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who just want to lie and pretend convincingly that you do know Ansem, Ansem is in 1 billion group chats because
Yeah,
if
he
somebody
is.
adds Ansem to a group chat and they're not like followed by him, it just goes to his archives. It goes to his like message requests, and he just never sees it. So he can like he never even has the ability to leave it because he would have to
You never even know
scroll
it was
1
there.
billion
Yeah,
messages down through his DM archives in order to specifically leave a group chat that he never sees anyway, right? So like he's in a lot of group chats technically. Is he active in a lot of group chats? Kind of sort of, but it's like one of those things where at a certain point you hit like group chat singularity and you have to just like pop in like once every like 2 weeks or
yeah,
something, send like 3 messages and then leave again because otherwise everyone gets tilted against you for like abandoning them.
yeah. They're like, you've changed. Like, no, I have. You should see my message. Like, I sometimes I show people my fucking messages. Like, look,
Yeah.
this is your alt, and you have
No,
like
I do that all the time.
notifications.
I do that
Like
all the time
even
because
on the
people
screen you have up right now, your messages, you have notification on your alt. Our main accounts fucking swamped. I can't find shit.
yeah, and like people when you say like I am in too many group chats to see your messages when you send them to me. Like everyone thinks that you're like, "Oh, like I'm just so fucking cool that I blah." But like you have to understand that like when you like the amount of group chats that you get added to scales exponentially with your follower account.
Yeah,
And also when you go to conferences, it scales like hyper triple exponentially. So
yeah, absolutely.
because everyone makes 37 group chats to meet
Yeah,
up with
like
everyone and then
yes.
some of those group chats wind up continuing and then they add people and then they become like lasting group chats. So like
Yeah,
literally my Android does not have enough RAM to load in all of the group chats to like because it'll be like fucking like 50 group chats that have had a message sent in the last like 1 minute, and in order to scroll past those I get down and then it refreshes and updates and then it fucking rubber bands me up to the
yeah.
top. Like I literally am hitting the technical capacity of my Twitter app to display group chats. And
Same. I
nobody
have like,
understands that until you pull out your phone and you show it to them, right?
bro, it
Because
overrides like how you know how you could pin chats. Like it's at the
yeah,
point where
yeah,
it
yeah, it's
overrides
broken. It
it.
doesn't fucking work.
It doesn't work anymore. Yeah, like we literally cannot see shit, and it's not because we're the most popular people ever. It's bro. It's cooked.
It's
It's
because
cooked.
we're extroverts and also we're like fairly like ingrained in like a weird online space. But again, like the only way that you can explain this to people is by showing it to them, because otherwise they just think that you're jerking yourself off. But when they see it, they realize, oh my God, it's so much fucking worse than I even thought was possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cooked. So never, if we don't respond, and like, just know it's not on purpose. Sometimes if I see it, it's because I'm literally, if I see a
Right.
message, it's because I literally have it open, and
Yes.
and it's like,
Yes,
that's
and
the
then
only way I'm
that's
seeing
like
it.
sometimes you'll have those people too where like you uniquely see them one time because like they get you exactly when you've opened your messages tab, and then you go and you're like, I've never seen this person before, and so you click on that because it's like a shiny new avatar, and you have like when you get sucked into that, you have a very like nice long conversation with them. Like, you know me, like I'm wandering
Yeah.
cat mode, right? If I get dragged into something, we continue very far down the rabbit hole. So now we've done that for a while, and then maybe they hit me up again tomorrow, but I'm not in my messages tab then. And then they do it again the next day. And then if it doesn't, like, if I don't respond, they think that I'm mad and I'm like ignoring them. And then eventually they start getting like either sad or like pissed off at me. And you
Yeah.
can't like, you can't explain to them that like it's just because you only uniquely saw it this one time and you're not like ignoring them. It's just that they caught you at like a magical golden hour. Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
It's
a
just
really
how it
weird,
is.
rough situation where I like would like to spend a lot more time talking to people than I do, but I just
And you also got to also remember, it's not just Twitter. It's like Telegram.
it's
It's fucking,
Telegram,
it's
it's Threema,
Discord.
it's Signal, it's fucking
It's
Google
all these
Messages,
things.
it's
And
Discord,
then
it's
if we press the notification tab, we can infinitely refresh with new notifications.
yeah.
Like, I cannot, like, mine's bad. I can only imagine what Anthem's is like. I actually, I want to see it because I've never. I'm sure he just like I've turned off notifications from almost everything. I suffer like, direct replies, and like people I follow, and even still, it's infinite refresh, right? So I can only imagine what his looks like. It'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And I think
then
I
everyone's
saw
response to this is they say, like, oh, well, why don't you just leave the group chats that you're not active in? And it's like, so
you have
if
to
you
find
leave,
them first.
well, if you leave the group chats, everybody denies that this is true.
They'll
If it
immediately
relates to
add you
them,
back, or they get mad. That's
they
the
get mad.
options.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If you leave a group chat, the people in it after you leave, like someone makes like a joke about, oh, like I guess we're not funny enough or something. Uh,
Yeah,
but it's
they
like
get
it's a
salty.
half joke, and from there they do spiral, like they get tilty, and then you notice these people starting to like show up in your replies a bunch, saying like pissy things. Then you see like leaked screenshots from some other group chat where they're like bitching about the time that you like left their thing, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, well, it's like I understand that this is retarded and I should just be calling you losers for doing this, but like I think it's too common. I think it's a very common trait that a lot of
Yeah, because
people
people
have.
want to feel like they're included. They don't want to feel like they've been, abandoned.
Yeah.
Or like,
So
I mean, I get it, but also it's like, it's not like, it's just, yeah, it
it's
is
an
what it
annoying thing that people do, certainly, but it's like trapping everybody. And like this isn't just me. Like most of the other people that I've talked to that are trapped in this sort of like group chat wormhole thing where they also like have a ton of them. Like they also agree with this. They might not say it publicly. Uh, but there is a sense too that, if when you leave, you're making your life more difficult in some silly way.
Yeah. C'est la vie. Okay, now I have to actually put the break on so I can eat food.
Okay, I'm gonna
Get a little
go and I'll
lightheaded.
render one of
But we
these
actually
out.
have a lot of, yeah, it'd be awesome. We actually get some recording. I'm glad we actually finally got to do it. We're still
Yeah, we
back.
got, what is this, 2.5 hours? That's not bad. It's
Not
like
bad at all.
we honestly,
And also, we should record more regularly anyway. So 2.5 hours is solid.
yeah, we need it's I'm back. I can record some now. I'm still very busy with all of the shit going on, but it's like I at least am not traveling irregularly and trying to like scheduling
Yeah,
meetings with like 3 different companies while traveling, while trying to
horrible.
do fucking like onboarding shit is like,
Yeah, no,
especially when all your
that's
travel shit is, it's not like at a set time. It keeps getting added or delayed or canceled. That was insane, man.
oh no, yeah.
Scheduling in the lounge is goddamn impossible. But anyway, have a good dinner, man. I'm sad that I have one less mic set up, but we'll live.
Hey, it's just a new beginning. There's new opportunities. You can try now. You can like go down the rabbit hole of new mics and shit. That's your favorite thing.
Well, yeah, I don't think I have time for the technical autism anymore, man. It's like with the Mac, like I didn't even, you know what I would have done like
You just
last
pulled the
year.
trigger. You just
You
pulled
know
the
how
trigger?
much I went into
had a
Costco and
verse?
I just bought the fucking most
Oh,
expensive
hell yeah.
MacBook they had and just left.
The Versaloon special. Just all right, buying this done. I'm not looking at shit.
Yeah.
What's the top result? Boop.
Yep.
That's what I.
Absolutely.
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore.